And I don't know what to tell you. Hey guys. What?
I'm knocking out of your fucking hand. You start filming me.
Aren't we on the same team down here?
Not right now, we are.
What, because I'm too bold for you? Whoa, easy, man. Relax.
Come on, guys. It's all shot.
It's all right.
We're standing for those men up there.
Yeah, this throws in all of us.
That's what we're here for.
Listen, guys. Just wanted to give you a little update from down here on the ground. So, okay. The guys came out, and you may have just seen a few updates from John. I'll address what just happened here in a couple of minutes. The court is just doing their talking in circles right now. So what they're doing, they've just started some cross-examinations. We just got off from lunch. They've gone back in there. They've just started cross, and they are taking this court message. They're getting the court witness up there, and all they're doing is talking circles and saying, oh, we felt threatened, we felt threatened, we felt threatened. But the message is strong. They're coming back. The defense is coming back. They're starting to do cross-examinations, and they're going to bring up, guys, they're going to bring up this idea of who was really threatening down there, right? So the truth is, these courts, they drag it along. They're a slow, draggy process. And what they do is they try and babble and talk in circles enough that these people will think that our defendants, our heroes, are the bad guys, okay? You know, they'll play the militia game. Oh, they were a militia, they were radicals. You know what? The militia is part of our nation. It's part of our Second Amendment. 10 U.S.C. 13-311, 10 U.S.C. 13-311, even outside the Constitution, in U.S. Code, it identifies we the people as recognized militia, okay? And we need to keep that message alive. But you know what? We also need to be bold. We have to not pretend that those attacking liberty, that those attacking the freedoms of principled men, that those locking them in jails and holding them in courtrooms, we have to stop pretending that those people are honorable, principled men. We have to stop pretending that the pretty officers up here behind me, we have to stop pretending that these pretty officers up here behind me are our friends because they say polite words, or that the judges are good because they say polite words. Treason is not good. Abusing people is not good. You know, I was talking to Captain Morgan earlier, and Captain Morgan said that ignorance was never innocent. Ignorance is not innocent. You can't say, well, you know what, I didn't know what happened, or that wasn't my job, or that's not my department. It's like the feds I talked here yesterday. They say, oh, well, I can't do anything about those. That's not my job. That's the job of the guys inside, right? And the guys inside says, well, that's the job of the judges. And the judge says, well, that's the job of the legislature. Everybody passes the buck. Everybody makes excuses. Now, you go back to the beginning of this video. Just before I started the video, one of the guys down here on the ground was freaking out at me. Because they're all saying, because I stood up to that Fed. I don't want to say, oh, there's really good people down here. People are saying because I stood up to the Fed yesterday and it was nice to him, but I called him out. And they're saying, oh, Gavin's making trouble. So this guy's down here saying, Gavin's the troublemaker here. Gavin's messing it up for our defendants. And people are calling me and saying, we don't want to be down here because Gavin's here. You know what? If you don't want to be down here, it's because you don't want to stand. But understand, we have people down here. There's good people down here. We've had signs going all day. There's a positive message down here. And what we need to do, we can argue and we can disagree and we can scrap a little, right? But we need to remember the message of Ammon and Lavoie and Ryan. We need to remember the boldness of calling out and saying, we demand that our public officials and our sheriffs honor their oath. So we're at this phase where people get frustrated. We're at this phase where it's easy to get at each other's throats. It's easy to get angry, okay? But remember what it's about. Remember the videos where they're throwing the Bundys on the ground, where they're throwing women on the ground. Remember the video of them killing Lavoie. Remember what he stood for. And at these trials, and at our stands, get over our pettiness and our ego and our anger. Get over this idea that we got to be politically correct. We got to send a good message to the media. We are the media. We are the media. We are the voice. We are the unity. We can never pretend that those who violate the rights, the life, and the liberty of good, principled, honorable men are good, principled, and honorable men for doing so. The Founding Fathers didn't go to the Redcoats and say, thank you for your service in violating us. They said, no more.
You are not the boss of me.
That's right. And so look, people get angry with me down here, and I'm going to be heading back to Washington soon, and we need to get strong people. We need the strong people to stay down here. We need you to keep the message going. We got John in Oregon. We got Kelly in Oregon. You know, we got Shauna Cox, and we got Bundy's down here. Guys, they threw Cliven's sister out of the court this morning because she shook her head. And she's banned from court for a day. These aren't courts of law, these are courts of treason. These officers that don't stop these kangaroo courts, they're not officers of law. They're order followers who commit treason. What happened to our fire? What happened to Don't Tread on Me? What happened to We Will Rebel? What happened to Boston Tea Parties and protests and turning the world upside down? What happened to the Lavoie Finnecums, the Ammon Bundys, and the Ryan Bundys of the world? Where's our courage? Stop pointing fingers at each other. Stop telling people that are out there on the line that they need to shut up, that they need to be silent, that they need to be more cooperative and more quiet. That's not how liberty's won. That's not how we free our political prisoners. You will not beat a traitor by telling him he's not a traitor. You have to stand up to the kangaroo courts. You have to stand up to the officers. You have to choose whether you're going to stand for freedom or bow for the chains of a slave. I'm done mincing words with you. I'm done pretending that our partisan politics have anything to do with our liberty. This is a matter of life and death. It's life, it's liberty, and property for all.
You're not standing alone, Gavin.
Hey, Shauna.
I know what you're saying is true.
Listen, and here's the thing, guys. Here's Shauna, right? You remember her? She was there, right? She was with Lavoie. She saw these things, and we don't always all agree on the issues. Sometimes I don't mind if people say, I don't know, Gavin, you're a little bit of a radical, and I'm like, well, so are most of our founding fathers, but that's fine. But what we've got to get past is the idea that we make nice, right? We don't make nice with the enemy. We're not in bed with the redcoats when we defend liberty. Doesn't mean we hate them. Doesn't mean we want to hurt them. But you don't help these men up here. You don't love the police officer and the judge. You don't love them by saying thank you for your service. We've got to cool this idea of, oh, I'm a 3%er. Let's go shake the FBI's hand and thank them for their service. No. The 3%ers resist tyranny. The 3%ers stand up. The militia stands up, and we, the people, are the militia. And so anybody down here, anybody that's afraid to come down here because Gavin's here, anybody that's afraid to come down here because Captain Morgan or Shauna's here, anybody who's afraid to stand, we have to put off our fear, we have to buckle up, and we have to mount up, and we have to start taking a stand. That's what happened that day at Bundy Ranch. That's what happened in Oregon. The reason these men are in jail is not because they waved flags and said, thank you for your service. The reason they're in jail is because they resisted. And they said, enough is enough, and we're going to do something about it. That's an example to follow. That's how you love your neighbor. And that's the message that needs to get out. We need to tighten up the ranks. We need to challenge each other. We need to keep ourselves moving forward. And we need to not pretend that we're going to be loved by the tyrants when we're resisting the treason. You guys take care. Talk to you soon.